Vols are back.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now. I made up my mind. I don't expect to ever look back. I'm going to stay at the University of Tennessee.
Reddit did to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Sunday, October 23rd. I've got Landon with me tonight and Joey Boots in the background. It is an exciting episode. Your Tennessee Volunteers are now 7-0 for the first time since
98.
Clemson let us down. It was really starting to feel like 98, and then they go and they're terrible on Saturday.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about them. The wrong shade of orange. No big deal. I just wanted to mention that Syracuse lost. I thought that's fun to do. I should have been getting to mention Clemson losing.
They should have lost.
And then they stormed the field, of course.
Yeah.
That waters it down for you, right? Just real quick.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not cool. When we stormed the field against Alabama, people kept telling me, "Oh, dude, that's so awesome! You got to do that. Like, you're gonna get to tell your grandkids about that." Well, I mean, how many times are you gonna tell your grandkids that you stormed the field? Beating an unranked opponent.
Death Valley pretty much lives on the field. Like, everybody's there. It's free.
Yeah, their ground
festival.
Crew has to hate that.
They probably don't get the same because it's so unique. They probably don't have to do that every week like Tennessee. Anytime a field gets stormed. Oh man, I mean, I had a great weekend. I know Landon got to go to the game. Just tell me about it. How was homecoming? A little Hoco action.
Yeah, it was good. It was a great crowd for homecoming noon game against an FCS opponent. I don't think you can get any better than what it was. I mean, cool to see like different people back. I guess like I was standing like in the ticket line. I stood behind a guy who was like, I guess, been in the Pride like a long time ago.
Yeah,
and was just waiting in line like a normal person for his ticket. I just thought it was interesting. He was just sitting there with like a trumpet. And I saw down the field on his playing card right there. So
I was about to say, who sent me that? It was you. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was good all the way around. I mean, we took care of business. That's the only real takeaway I have. You got in, you got out, no injuries. Hopefully Brandon Turnage isn't really anything. You avoided the targeting call with Danico Slaughter, which that's one of the worst things is sweating out a bet sucks. Sweating out a targeting call is like next level.
Yeah, because targeting's kind of like a catch nowadays. Like, is it or isn't it? Who knows? We're gonna flip a coin and find out.
Right.
Kind of like the Mark Thomas one last week at Alabama. I'm not saying it was like 100% targeting, but if it had gotten called, like, it wouldn't shock me. It's like I could see how you produce targeting from that.
Yep.
So yeah, it's definitely a toss of the coin. Just how's Birmingham feeling tonight? We'll find out. No, I told you, I thought it'd be a great environment. It looked great. I know it wasn't quote unquote, it was sold out, but I know it wasn't full. But I mean, that's the most full it's had to be for an October FCS opponent in a long time. The feeling around Knoxville, the feeling on Rocky Top right now is an all-time high, and it's awesome to be a part of. Like, it's really cool to get to see it happen because we have not. 2016, it had a lot of hype around it after Georgia game, after the A&M game, all that, but you knew you were going to get destroyed by Alabama that year. And like, just the way it happened, App State, we shouldn't have won that game. We recovered an offensive fumble to win in the end zone. Georgia, you lost the game before you won it. It just like felt like the wheels were about to come off. This team, you talk about taking care of business. This team is just checking every box. Like, they're taking care. taking care of business. We're going to talk about Kentucky. I've had a lot of people ask me, does it feel like a trap game? I'd be way more. It is still weird coming before Georgia, who is on your obviously going to be circled on your schedule. That's who you have to go through to get to Atlanta. But you got to beat Kentucky too if that Georgia game is going to mean anything. You got to beat Kentucky.
Mhm.
So yeah, I trust this team. We talk about it. This team's different. It's different, and I trust them. They go and take care of business. Was it Brett McMurphy or was it who was it that tweeted little hangover maybe in Knoxville 5 minutes into the game?
Well, that's Pat 40.
Pat 40. The national media does not watch football games, and I don't expect the national media to watch Tennessee versus UT Martin. However, don't tweet about it if you aren't watching, because I guarantee you if you had said, hey, Pat, did UT Martin score on their first drive? He would have said yes, because he wasn't watching the game.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like when it was 7-7, you're like, okay, how'd they score? I mean, a lot of it was penalties, a blown coverage. Like, it was just like weird stuff.
And most of it came late too. That's where
and
barrage came.
they hit on some 50-50 balls against us, and whatever. Like, Tennessee isn't healthy in the secondary, so if you didn't utilize that to your advantage, I'd question you as a coach. So, they did that. I thought UT Martin. I think they're a great FCS team.
They look good. I was kind of honestly shocked. I thought they looked like a pretty good team.
I was super impressed with their quarterback, and I thought that receiver, I can't remember, it was number 15, and he was the one that were catching the 50-50 balls. I thought he looked good. He had over 100 yards. But they didn't run the ball. They couldn't run the ball.
Yeah, you can't.
Tennessee shut that down, and Tennessee didn't do a great job running the football. But I think UT Martin was kind of knowing Tennessee was going to be pretty vanilla, so they just like put 9 in the box, and that's why Tennessee was able to hit on so many deep balls. Like, I guess they didn't think Tennessee was just going to throw it, and Tennessee didn't. After that first half, didn't throw a ton of them, a couple every now and then to kind of keep the offense on the field. But
yeah, and it's Tennessee's identity. I know they want to run the football to get the pass game going, but it's your identity, and it's kind of hard to, like you said, if you want to operate your offense down the field, it's hard to really change too much about it.
Right. Yeah, and they're playing vanilla. I mean, there was no doubt about it. I mean, it was 52-7. So, like, if that's at the half, if that's a hangover, I want that hangover every single time.
Yeah, 50 in 30 minutes. Give me that all the time.
Yeah,
which
100%.
You talk about vanilla. They put some sprinkles on there. You had a trick play, and we're going to talk about guys who impressed, and this guy impressed. But if we had him on the show, I'd have to give him a hard time. Princeton Fant would have been a fantasy football dream on Saturday. He dropped a touchdown pass. He would have had 3. He would have had the triple crown on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough, and it was an easy one. Like, there was no one in front of him.
There's no debating. Like, if he just does he get in? No, he was.
He did it. Everything else was difficult. The easy one he drops. Yeah, what a game from him. I just think that is like a really cool sprinkle that he can run the football. They run some fullback dive, the fullback counter where he ran that 11-yard touchdown run in.
Is he the best fullback in the country?
I mean,
and he's a tight end
per sources. And then the pass. I mean, it's just giving Kentucky and the rest of the opponents something else to, you
got to watch on
plan
film.
for. Yeah, plan for. Yeah.
What did we talk about? Was it we joked about it with someone that they ran that play just to make other teams spend an extra 5 minutes in practice going over that. What was that? We talked about that earlier in the season, and I like the conspiracy theory side of it.
Yeah, was it
I feel
was
like
it the sweet option?
No, I feel like it was something weirder. Like, it was like some swinging gate. I don't think it was Tennessee. It was funny though. Like, whatever.
Oh,
whatever
yeah,
team
yeah.
it was.
We were talking about South Carolina doing that
Swinging gate against
South Carolina
SC State.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah.
Which I did make fun of South Carolina for running a trick play, and then we ran a trick play. But I mean, we did have our backup quarterback.
They did it for 2 points too.
Right.
Let's be clear about that.
We did score a touchdown. We were padding some stats. I do think this team, like, understands what's at stake, even though like it doesn't seem to bother them. They're just kind of even keel about it. But I do think they like at least the coaches maybe understand like, hey, Jalen Hyatt has a chance to pretty much have the best single season at Tennessee as a wide receiver.
Right.
He's got one more touchdown pass or receiving touchdown to tie the record with Marcus Nash and Joey Kent, and then 1298 is the yardage for Robert Meacham, and he has a single season record. Yeah, stud. Jalen Hyatt has 769 yards with 5 games to go. I mean, it's
doable. It's there.
Yeah. I
But
mean, the guy has in the 6 quarters that he's played, he has 7 touchdowns. That's stupid.
I actually talked to a guy who went to high school with him on Saturday. I went to a bar just on the street from my hotel to watch the game.
Fork?
Went to Dutch Fork with him and talked to him for probably about 10 minutes just about Tennessee and Jalen Hyatt. So that was cool, I guess. I mean, he's like I'm a South Carolina fan, but Jalen's almost made me a Tennessee fan. I was like, yeah, I bet a lot of South Carolina fans were regretting not getting him when he scored that. Was it a game winner in the state championship? In Williams-Brice? I was like, yeah, a lot of them probably were just not happy about that one. But no, I think you talk about Jalen.
I don't know. That wasn't the final straw, but I'm sure that was one of the straws of Muschamp.
Yeah, for
getting
real.
the can.
Missing that guy, letting him go to an East rival. But I think it's the whole. You talk about like being aware of the situation, and I think you have to be aware of it. Kind of like I talked about with Florida and Alabama. I don't want you to put like all your emotions and everything you have into the rivalries. But I think you need to be aware of what it means. And I think you need to be aware of being 7-0 and like the pressure that comes with it and the hype and the excitement. I think you need to be aware of it and understand that you earned it. But like, don't let it take up all your emotions. And I think, like you said, this team is very even keeled about it. I think they are. And they seem to just – it would have been easy to go lay an egg against UT Martin, still win, get out of there and go, hey, you won. Not a big deal. We'll move on. Instead, they just go out and it looks like they're almost progressing in a UT Martin game. And I know that's hard to do against hard to say that against an FCS opponent. But you get a lot of guys involved. You throw a few wrinkles in. I know we've seen the that offset I formation already this year, but maybe a little bit more of it. Princeton fan gets 2 rushing touchdowns. You get to see more of Joe Miller. Like,
doesn't he have 3 carries and 3 touchdowns? I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah.
Is it?
That's sure that's right.
Best fullback in the nation.
Yeah.
When do you think that formation came about? Do you think they had it, before camp, before he started working at running back, or do you think they saw him run the ball and were like, we might need to find a way to get this in his hands some more?
Well, I think when Lin J left,
he practiced.
He did practice that running. So, like,
do you think they were just like, we have a guy that we can put the ball in his hands more.
Yeah,
let's do it.
He looks pretty good running the ball.
Yeah. I don't know when. I kind of wonder when that kind of came about. It's unique. It's a wrinkle in an offense that you're not going to see it often. But like you said about showing Kentucky some stuff, you got to prepare for it.
Yeah, and with a full head of steam, like who's going to stop him from getting a yard?
Yeah, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, baby.
Yeah, love it.
So he's only ran out of that formation at Alabama. That was his first run out of that formation, because I know we've seen some under center stuff, but I just can't remember. Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah,
it's incredible. God, I wish he had caught that touchdown. That would have been so cool.
Yeah,
that would have been awesome. All right, I'm officially mad at you, Princeton fan.
Dude, like when that was one, like I stood up and I was just like, dude, catch the ball.
Mm-hmm. It was frustrating for sure, but
yeah,
more than made up for it, I think. Or maybe
also
more
like, I don't know like what the people believe in the football gods or not, but I don't know if Jalen Hyatt, caught and dropped that, ball from Princeton fan like 8 times. So, maybe that was to make up for that Princeton fan one.
Hey, it reminded me of our boy Jawan, the sideline against Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, how he caught it, how he stayed in bounds, I don't know to this day. But that's what it reminded me of instantly.
Yeah.
It was a fun game, and that's what I was talking to someone about. I was like, listen, like Butch won those games, and Jeremy Pruitt won most of them of those games, but they always played just terrible.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's got to not be fun to roll out of bed at 6, 7 a.m. and be like, yep, we're going to play UT Martin. Like, I get, like, you get up for the Alabamas and the LSUs, but also I think that's part of, like, why it's fun, though, to be in this offense. We talk about wide receivers, and I mean, even running backs. I'm sitting here wondering, how do you watch this offense operate and not go, I could feast there? In this offense, you got to wake up and be like, I'm going for 174 yards today. Or I'm Squirrel White. I didn't play last week, and I'm going to go for 122 on 5 catches and my first tutty in Neyland. You get up for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the young guys, I'm surprised I didn't see more plays out of them. You mentioned Squirrel White. He had, there was some flashes,
Yeah.
but I was surprised that, and maybe it was just, vanilla. Let's get in and get
I think
out.
we're getting spoiled. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I was surprised they didn't score more. I guess was, and when you look at the score, you're like, oh yeah, Tennessee did have a hangover, but like Hendon Hooker didn't even play the full second quarter.
Yeah, which I was like, man, give him one more drive. Let him have that last drive.
Yeah, let him get 300. But yeah, I do think there is that. They're trying to get some guys in awards. Like Hendon Hooker is. I don't know if he's a Heisman front runner, but he's up there. It's him or CJ Stroud right now. So it's they got him enough yards and touchdowns to carry that into next week, and good on them. But when is Jalen Hyatt going to be in that Heisman race?
Oh, I think there was an article about it. I need to go and read it.
He's balling.
He is, but
he would
that's
never
not the right word.
He would never get it over Hendon Hooker. But
Right.
I'm just saying, like, I mean,
does he get invited to New York?
Already? I mean, yeah, like there's it needs to be talked about more.
What? Well, here's this. Joey, if you can look it up, what was Devontae Smith's stats? There you go.
Okay.
Let's look that up.
His stats, like in the season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nowhere he needs to get. Nowhere.
I wish we could look at like by game 7. What was his stats in game?
Well, yeah, I mean, but I think it'll tell. We know where he needs to be, though.
Right.
98 receptions, 1,500 yards, 17 TDs, averaged 137, and averaged 8.9 receptions, tied for second best.
Okay.
Both of those were tied for second best.
So
he's still got a ways to go.
Yeah, he has 40 receptions.
That I assume too. That also probably includes playoff.
Okay, and SEC
Probably.
Championship. So
Which
yeah, that's
Heisman
15
comes
games.
Heisman comes after the SEC Championship game.
Okay.
So that would still be in play. But I mean, hey, like you talked about it, what seven what on the year so far?
7 what?
So how many? 700
769, something like that.
On the year. Nice. And then
Real nice.
12 TDs already. And all right, if we're going to talk about, we're selling Hendon on the Heisman. Let me sell Jalen Hyatt. 5 TDs against Alabama. And you're going to tell.
They always talk about what is your Heisman moment. That's got to be it. That's it. Like, what else do you need?
Also, shout out to Joey Stats on that one. Pulling that. But yeah, I mean, he's so much fun to watch. And I was telling that guy, I said, like, what was kind of the vibe around, like, was Jalen just a super confident player in high school? Because when he got to Tennessee, it seemed like he just didn't have much. It seemed like the confidence, like if you looked at him, especially if you look at him this year versus his first 2 years, it wasn't there. That confidence wasn't there. And now you can see him just be this really confident, swaggy. I mean, the man is counting his tutties in the end zone. Like the confidence is there. He's breaking tackles. That one that he ran up the seam for, I think, his 3rd touchdown against Alabama last year, he gets tripped up. He goes to the ground. And it's just that confidence is there, and he's playing so much better. And the guy was like, he said he watches almost every Tennessee game because of Jalen. And he's like, yeah, I mean, I definitely know what you're saying. Like 100% agree. So like, it's not just us that think that. And to see his confidence within this offense grow, how do you not want to play for Josh Heupel if you're a receiver?
Yeah,
Carnell
100%.
Tate wants to be in Knoxville. He tweeted it himself.
Yeah, what do you
retweeted
do?
it.
What do you do?
Huh? Did he retweet something? Oh, he's like, I wish I was in Knoxville or something, or liked it. There was something on Twitter,
Yes,
wasn't there?
yeah, something like that. He had FOMO for sure. But dude, what's impressed me most about Jalen Hyatt? It's not that like I feel like the talent's always been there, but he's just so more like much more physical. Like
That's the
like yesterday, him like getting sandwiched in between two guys and making it out and just going to the end zone.
doesn't do that
That's
last year.
different. Yeah, and
He didn't do
like
that last year.
when they do the screens, like he's usually a guy blocking on the outside. And okay, so Joey Boo
Doesn't
said that
include
didn't include.
playoff. So he's got a ways to go.
Yeah, he does.
He's got a ways
He's
to
got
go.
But I mean, he's out there blocking a DB and handles himself well. I mean, he doesn't look like he'd pack a punch, but he's done a great job in the weight room, it seems like, and it's showing on the field for sure.
Well, you know this. I mean, what, maybe half, 50% of blocking, it's confidence. It's going out there and just being being physical, the act of
Yeah.
it, more so than you obviously have to have the strength too, but you also have the confidence to go, I'm going to block you. Same for getting off a guy that's trying to jam you at the line. You got to, you got to be strong and fast, but you also got to be aggressive. And that's confidence. And that you can see it with him. And I was talking to somebody about it in terms of, it might have been you. Alabama didn't really know what to do with Tennessee's offense in the secondary. They didn't know whether to just play off and let them come at us or try to jam at the line of scrimmage and hold them up and let the guys get to Hendon Hooker, let the pass rush get to Hendon Hooker. It's hard to know when you've got guys like Brew McCoy and Jalen Hyatt who they can burn you in a lot of different places. It's not just speed. It's physicality and strength too. And that's tough to defend, man.
Yeah, and if I'm nitpicking this offense, they need to get the ball to Brew McCoy more often.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But
It just seems off. Like yesterday just seemed off. They missed on a couple hookups there. It was just I don't know. It just seems like the left side is just out of place a lot in this offense. So I would like to see Brew McCoy more involved. And he hasn't been the last couple games.
yeah, I mean, Alabama, he had two
Yeah.
crucial catches. That was it. And I think he only had 3 targets in that game.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but,
like to see more.
yeah, and it's going to be hard when you've got a guy like Jalen Hyatt that's just getting open all the time, too. Kind of like the same
Right.
thing with Cedric Tillman. We threw the ball a lot to Cedric before he got hurt, but it's also like he's open. It's not.
Yeah, like
forcing
it's not like Brew McCoy's doing anything bad or like you're doing anything wrong. It's just weird that like you have so much talent on that side and he's just I don't know. There's just not enough ball to go around, I guess.
There's only one of them. If Alabama would stop Jalen Hyatt, I don't know why they didn't. They just
Yeah.
cover him.
Right.
Ball's probably getting thrown to Brew McCoy more often.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, what did Brew as your leading receiver at? I mean, Jalen Hyatt had a great game at LSU. Brew is your leading receiver though.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he had a really good game. Yeah, just not as big of a focal point of the offense.
And I think when you play this week, you're going to play a better secondary than this week for sure. Probably, it's hard to say. I mean, they're better statistically than Alabama.
Yeah, here's the thing:
So-
they're going to play matchups, and they're not going to hide it. Like if you're going to keep, putting a safety on Jalen Hyatt, or you see that matchup, we're going to motion to it. We're going to make that guy have to cover Jalen Hyatt. He's going to have to prove that he can do it, or we'll just throw right over the top.
Which I love. There's nothing better than a pretty deep ball, especially the one Hendon Hooker throws.
There's nothing better than dialing it up like that. Like our best is better than your best. I love that. That's just BDE. That's what that is.
And we don't need Lane Kiffin on the sideline standing up with his hands in the air before the ball's thrown. We don't need that crap. Watch Josh Heupel do that this week, which it'll be funny because it'll be against Kentucky. But watch that happen.
Or
my luck.
As long as we win the fourth quarter, man.
Is that the only quarter that matters?
At Shane Beamer, yeah, 100%.
How about Jimbo Fisher being a worse coach than Shane Beamer?
Dude, he's.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
They're terrible.
Just get rid of him. It ain't worth it.
Oof, that's
That recruiting class will still be there.
that's a fat
You're still paying him.
buyout. Good.
I'd rather pay him to not be my coach than pay him to lose.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, if he
point that.
leaves, like if people do leave, like, you wasted all that money that you spent on that recruiting class.
Hey, they're literally
Jeez.
getting it out of the ground. They don't care. It's literally growing for them. They do not care.
It must be.
I know we kind of ran through some guys who impressed. Do we just want to back and forth here, or what? How do you want to do this?
Yeah, I do want to mention that, like, I saw some people were like, why are we throwing deep balls against UT Martin? And maybe the last throw isn't like the most friendly thing you can do, but it's like, dude, our fourth string quarterback's in.
Yeah.
Like, he hasn't scored a touchdown. I don't know if he scored any in college or any at UCF when he was there, but he hasn't thrown a single touchdown at Tennessee. If I was in his position, I don't want to do it. And the UT Martin coaches can be mad all they want to. It was a pick. Like, he threw an interception.
Well,
Like, why are you upset?
like you said, it's the fourth string guy. One of the reasons
Right.
you schedule these games, one of the reasons we pay you upwards of $1 million is to get some guys experience.
Mhm.
And they're not going to get experience handing the ball off. Like, that's not
Right.
how you do it.
I think this game did show, though, that Tennessee still does have a depth issue.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah.
there's a big drop off from the starters, and maybe they don't. We think they don't play enough guys. I mean, maybe there is a reason for that. They don't feel confident in it that they can get the job done at the level that they expect them to do it at.
Yeah, got to gain that trust.
For sure.
And I definitely, I mean, and with that being said, I know there's been a lot of talk about Josh Heupel and his coaching job this year, and he should 100% be a finalist for the coaches award, if not the winner. Obviously, you got 5 more games to go. So that's a
Shane
big
Beamer's
if.
in the running.
And Shane Beamer's on the schedule, man. I mean, what are you going to do? But talking about doing a lot with little, he has. But, man, credit to, I mean, Jalen Hyatt's a great example. This offensive line, the growth they've made, the defensive line and the growth they've made, it's obviously, Josh Heupel and the rest of the coaches on that staff making huge impacts. But the way these dudes have bought in and the way they play, like the Alabama game is a great example. That's not coaching. I mean, it is to an extent, but to stay in it and fight, that's more than coaching. And I know a lot of that goes back to the coach. But credit to these dudes. Like, they've been dogs. And I hope they continue to be dogs. And I think there's a reason where they're at. And it's obviously some coaching, but there's a ton of credit that goes to this team and the way they fight. And that's also, I'd almost put that more on the leadership of the players. Coaches can preach that all they want. Every coach preaches fight and effort, and every coach does it. It's good leaders that really kind of create that environment. And so, like, credit to these leaders on this team.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Tennessee, like, there's no doubt this week showed how good Tennessee is. LSU getting that win over Ole Miss pretty handily. And then Alabama just taking it to Mississippi State. Maybe they're a little pissed off, but that looks like 2 huge wins for Tennessee in Tennessee in the fashion that they did it. So
yeah, and I hate to play that. I was talking to someone today about I hate to compare those teams because it really doesn't mean anything. Like,
it doesn't.
Like, Tennessee plays Kentucky this week. Kentucky lost to Ole Miss. LSU destroyed Ole Miss. Like all that. But it is a good mark of saying what teams can you beat. Because, like, for example,
hey, we're just padding that resume, baby.
Yeah.
Padding the stats in this game and padding the resume.
Well, we talked about last week, there's not another quarterback in the country. And I would even put Hendon Hooker, I love him to death, in that category. Bryce Young is just a different animal. There's not another quarterback in the country that could do what Bryce Young did to Tennessee and keep Alabama in that game. Not another one. There's not another team that could go and beat Alabama on that night. Then Tennessee, I'm sorry, you can't convince me. You cannot convince me because it hasn't been shown yet. Ohio State hadn't shown they can stay in games like that. UCLA definitely can't. TCU, they're fighters, but they haven't played at the level that Tennessee and Alabama both played Saturday night. Clemson would have been run off the field. The fans would have stormed the gates trying to get out of there if that was in Death Valley against Clemson.
Yeah.
So Tennessee's a really, really good football team. Alabama's a really good football team. Glad we got the best of them this year. LSU, I said LSU. I won't use the term really good. LSU's a good football team. And they didn't play their best ball against Tennessee, but Tennessee had a lot to do with that.
Well, Tennessee does a great job on defense of making teams one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Brian
Kelly messed up too, where Nick Saban, we criticized his coaching in the fourth quarter, but early in the game, and I said this too, Florida convinced LSU to go for it on fourth down. That's how you stay with Tennessee. No, you take the points. You take the points early in the game. Second half, you see where you're at, and you're probably going for touchdowns. If Alabama doesn't take the points, they're out of that game.
Oh yeah,
we do what we did to LSU.
Yeah, the only way you beat Tennessee is you boat race them. You gotta find a way to score more points than they are, because they're putting up points. I mean, we had almost 700 yards of total offense. It was against UT Martin, I get it, but 700 yards is insane.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
don't know how much is in the first half, but a large chunk was in that first half.
That was your 52 points.
Yeah.
And Tennessee against LSU is a great example too. In the first half, you take your points when you're in field position. You take your points. Tennessee did that to LSU, kept them ahead.
Mm-hmm.
You got to score. You got to score to keep up with Tennessee, and you're not going to convert 5 of 6 on fourth down against Tennessee all the time. I know it's not a great defense, but Florida just had a really good fourth down game plan. They knew what they needed to do to stay in it, and they were ready. LSU was not that gay. Tennessee had a lot to do with that. Tennessee's a really good football team.
Yeah, 100%. Some more guys that impressed me. I thought William Wright handled himself well. He had a kind of a mistake there. Got a talking to by Coach Martinez. Then, like either the next play or the play after that, he got that pick. So, really good on him. That's just a terrific story for him to kind of get the meaningful snaps he's getting already. And it's, they seem to have enough trust in him to put him in. And I thought he handled himself well yesterday, and against Alabama as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to go in how you did against Alabama, I don't know.
Now going forward, I want him to get healthier at corner.
Right. Well, and I don't know how great of a player he is. I mean, he is a walk-on, like you said, playing because of injury. But you cannot deny the dog. If they did an X-ray, who was that in the NFL? They did that. They showed an X-ray and it was just dogs.
Oh yeah, I forget who that was.
I can't remember who started that. William Wright has dogs in his heart.
Yeah.
That dude's a dog.
100%.
Yeah. I got to mention Princeton fan again. It's got to be my first guy who impressed. Just the versatility. He's a big dude. Runs the ball well. I mean, he's open a lot in the pass game. Just got to see him catch the ball a few more times. One more time to be exact. And then throws a nice little ball. That's why you're going to have to defend that play, because he can throw it.
Dude, I just love the vision. Hey, there's some daylight. Go get it. I sometimes I don't think our running backs, this is me nitpicking again, but sometimes our running backs, like, just trust your eyes.
Yeah.
If it's there, go. Sometimes I think they hesitate a little bit.
Right. Princeton fan does not.
No. He's like, I'm going.
So you said that I need to go back. I haven't watched this game again. You said it was a little fullback. Was it a counter play? Was it?
Yeah.
I thought I thought he just bounced it outside, like saw that. I thought he just got stuck at the line of scrimmage and then saw the outside space.
Yeah, it was like a.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. They showed the replay on the jumbotron, and it was a counter.
Okay.
But they pulled, I think, their guard or tackle or somebody, and there was literally no one over there.
I mean, he walked in.
Yeah.
Walked.
Yeah.
I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Tyree West, I thought he flashed for me a little bit. Had a sack in this game. Almost had 2. I thought he looked really good of getting back there, and his get off seems pretty insane for a defensive tackle.
Yeah, this we talked about depth. There's not a lot of depth issues at the defensive line all across the board.
Dude, those young guys,
fast and physical guys up there.
Pierce and Josephs and Tyree West and Jordan Phillips, they're gonna be good. Like this,
yeah.
this defensive line in the next 2 or 3 years is gonna be insane.
For sure. For sure.
Ramel Keaton, I mean, he's always the last guy we talk about, but man, he's just Mr. Consistency. That's him.
Yeah.
He's so sure-handed and runs great routes. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he can break some tackles and stay up and get that extra yardage, and he's just good. Like the dude is just
Right.
good.
Well, and it's cool that
That's a dog.
you can see this team, this coaching staff gaining more trust in him. How dangerous is a team like Tennessee if they have 4 receivers?
What about Squirrel White too?
Squirrel White was my next one. I'm curious where they're at with him because his playing times always come.
Yeah.
Always, well, except LSU. LSU, he even got a play that was only for him. The ball was not going anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so maybe a 5th. And Squirrel White, we talked about it on Thursday. We wanted to see him, and boy, did we see him. I mean, what a day. Squirrel White. He's so fast.
So fast.
He makes fast.
I hate that when
fast.
when you Google Squirrel White, like it literally comes up as a white squirrel. So you have to put like Tennessee or like football or something after it.
Try that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But yeah, just continue. I mean, maybe you do have a 5th. How dangerous is a team with a 5th receiver?
Yeah.
I mean, not that the 3, including, I mean, you can include Ramel Keaton in there. He's done a great job and he's been the 3rd. But with Cedric Tillman, I mean, those 3 talk about take care of business. They take care of business. But if you can get some rotation, some fresh legs in there, everyone, how do you stop them?
Yeah. Yeah, when Cedric Tillman comes back, I mean, I don't know what opposing teams are gonna do.
No.
I mean, do you just like, hey, let's let them score really quick, and maybe their defense is tired, so we score pretty quick too, and just see who has the ball last?
That sounds like the greatest plan of action, honestly.
Yeah, that's probably what I do.
It's hard to disagree with that plan of action.
Yeah.
I don't know what the chart says, but
Oh yeah, whatever Brian Kelly's chart says, do the exact opposite.
do you think Jimbo Fisher could find his chart
No.
in this 70 place call sheets?
Why does he have that? Like,
And
they ain't running them.
It looks like notebook paper too. Like it looks like on the bus on the way to the game, he just writes them all down on a new sheet every time.
They need to do like the triple option.
I'd watch it. I'd watch more A&M football.
They need to do like they have like 8 plays. Hey, let's just gonna perfect 8 plays and see if we can win a football game. See if we can out physical somebody.
I need to go look. That was in the middle of the reception, so I was like turning it on and checking the score. Did Haynes King play?
Yeah.
Okay. Just curious. Also, they had a chance to win. I didn't see their final drive. A&M had a chance to win.
They're so bad.
They had the ball in South territory, right?
I didn't see the very end. I just saw the final.
Gotcha.
But it wasn't very close for a while.
No, it was
Which
not
like
a good
neither
game.
team put up. I mean, it was ugly game.
Yeah, and that's South Carolina scoring 7 off the rip. They get to take the opening touchdown back.
Yeah.
I so badly wanted to tweet. I wanted them to lose. I could just tweet Beamer ball. So bad.
God, that after losing, after they make that freaking video of that TikTok with Shane Beamer looking at the lights, oh, it makes me want to vomit. But yeah, Jalen Hyatt, Squirrel White,
Studs, verified studs.
Yeah,
I can't wait. I can't wait for
Hendon Hooker.
Weekend.
I wish we could have seen more from the running backs. I mean, maybe that was by design. Since you don't have a lot of depth there, don't want to go into, the back half of this SEC schedule with injuries at that position. But I would have liked to seen us dominate the line of scrimmage on offense a lot more.
Yeah.
Defense really didn't get a chance. They're getting the ball out so quick. I think their longest reception was like 40-something yards, but it was literally just like a catch and throw.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, this week's the line of scrimmage is going to be the most important. I don't know if you want any more guys to impress before we just flash to Kentucky real quick. Kentucky's not a terrible football team. I want to go out and lead with that. I'll talk all the trash with you if you want. I'm on board to do that. Bob Stoops is a khaki wearing. Anyways, where they are going to be their best is at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. That's where, if you want to win this game, especially handily, that's where you have to take care of business. This offensive line, though, is light years ahead of where we played them Kentucky last year in a close game. They're going to have – that's probably one of their stronger places is their defensive front seven. And Tennessee's playing some of their best football on the offensive front. And so that's exciting to me, that where we're talking about where Kentucky can be dangerous, Tennessee's probably even more dangerous.
Well, yeah, I think going into this game last year, where you're like, Kentucky handled themselves up front. But now this year, like, I don't really have that question. Like, it's can they continue to do what they've done all season? And to this point, they haven't really given me any reason to doubt them up front. Chris Rodriguez is probably the best back that they played all year, but they've done I would say most physical back. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is probably a better football player, but maybe just a running back without, the
You said the most physical, the more physical back?
Yeah.
Is that what you said? Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Just downhill running the football, I think Chris Rodriguez would be a better back.
Well, where's Tennessee's defensive strengths, man? I mean,
that's
what you want. You don't want a Jahmyr Gibbs type.
Right. What are we giving up per game?
Which that goes kind of back into, well, to be fair, stop them throwing the football. So who would want us? To be fair to that point, but yeah, trying to think of So Chris Rodriguez is going to get his due.
90 yards per game is what we're giving up on the ground.
Jaden Daniels is going to tear us apart though on the ground. He's going to absolutely tear us apart. You obviously, Chris Rodriguez is going to get some of his. It's about containing him and making Will Levis beat you. Will Levis won't beat you. Chris Rodriguez could. Will Levis won't beat you.
Yeah. They're coming off the bye week, so, they're looking to get healthy just like Tennessee is. So I think it'll be a good football game. But here's the thing. It's in Neyland. It's going to be a night game. It's going to be packed to the brim. The last time they won here, it was during COVID. There's 40,000 people there, maybe. And we just kind of gave them the game right out the rip. So, this is going to be a completely different football game. I think it'll be completely different than it was last year. Tennessee is if you go and watch last year to this year, that offense and defense is so much more polished.
Yeah, it's efficient.
This time around.
It's efficient.
Yeah.
There's not really gaps in it.
Mm-hmm. And, Cedric Tillman's going to help that. Hopefully Kamal Haddon, Christian Charles, hopefully Jalen McCullough can be back as well. That's just going to help out this secondary, this entire team against Kentucky.
Oh, for sure. And Will Levis didn't have this pass rush last year. You talk about how the defense is a bit more polished. He made some crucial mistakes, including
and their offensive line sucks.
Their offensive line. I said they'd be good. They're really just good on the defensive side of the ball. I forgot how bad their offensive line was.
Yeah, they lost a lot.
They were pretty good last year. Yes. And they didn't face this kind of Tennessee defensive line last year, and Will Levis made some crucial mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So in the face of pressure, I'll take the Tennessee defense in the face of pressure. He's not moving around like Bryce Young. He's not moving around like Anthony Richardson. Those are the guys that are going to give you trouble, who can create more time for themselves.
Yeah. I mean, that Kentucky's going to ride whoever, if it's Will Levis, they're going to put the ball in his hands and can continue to do so. But it wasn't really working for him that much against Mississippi State. Mississippi State was kind of just sitting back. They only got to Will Levis one time, but Chris Rodriguez ran for 197 on 31 carries. So,
yeah.
They're going to ride whoever they can, but I just don't think Tennessee's going to let Chris Rodriguez or Will Levis beat them in this game. I don't think Tim Banks is going to let anybody do that.
Right.
If Bryce Young can't do it like you were talking about earlier, I don't think Will Levis is going to.
I'm certainly not taking that bet if I had to.
Right.
Someone just asked, didn't they clear Jalen McCullough today? I haven't seen anything. To be fair, I've been driving back today, so I haven't been on Twitter.
So he was cleared.
He was cleared
by the
yesterday
school.
by the school. Yes.
Yes, but he
Which
is.
makes me think there's a chance he's back for Kentucky. I mean, Heupel said it himself. I don't know if it's just semantics. I don't know how that works, but he said that he's not suspended. Obviously, sitting out this game, you still have some questions, but the school did clear him. The conduct board, I think, whatever student conduct board, they did clear him. So that does make me think it's at least moving. I don't know what the DA's office is. That's a different animal than the student conduct board, but it makes me think that the process is at least moving along there too.
And while he's been sitting out, Danico Slaughter's doing nothing but getting better.
And I kind of like to see maybe if we can find a way to use him on the field too, even with Jalen McCullough back, because there's still gaps.
Yeah,
definitely. It's going to be. It makes me feel a whole lot better if Jalen McCullough plays Saturday against Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad about this game. I know a lot of people think with Georgia coming up, it's still a trap game, even though you had a UT Martin between it. But
haven't they said that about every game though?
Every game, yeah.
Every game's a trap game.
Yeah.
What did we used to say? I think in high school we used to say like every game's a home game.
We did say that with the shout out to the student section.
Yeah, because we had a big student section. I mean, is this saying that every game's a trap game?
I think we should just put that in, we should create that narrative, and maybe the team hears it, and that instills that it's not a trap game to them.
Okay,
take care of business.
Yeah, just cancel it out.
Kentucky verified trap game. You beat UT Martin, which is a trap game. You beat the Hangover game. Now this is a trap game.
Hashtag trap game.
If you beat or lose to Kentucky, Georgia's still a trap game. They're all you're in a trap.
Whatever bowl game we play in, it's a trap game.
Playoff game. Whoever we play in the playoff, it's a trap
game.
Trap game. That SEC championship game is going to be a trap game in Atlanta.
Trap, yeah.
All right, so we're undefeated in our Super Bowls this year. The 4 we played, we're undefeated in trap games. I mean, what
homecoming?
We've beat 2 guys who had Heisman days against us. I mean, this might be the greatest team. People are like, this isn't LSU, 2019 LSU quite. Tennessee's won 4 Super Bowls, won 4 trap games, beat 2 Heisman winners. I mean, one with Checker Nealon, one in Gray.
Did Joey B do that? No.
Yeah, this is the greatest team of all time, apparently.
Well, here's another thing. They're not going to have 85 players drafted off this team either.
They're not. They're certainly not. And playing Super Bowls the 2 years later. Yeah, this might, when you put it like that, national media, this is the greatest team of all time, and opposing fans.
You can't deny it.
I mean, this Saturday is going to be my Super Bowl again too. We're going for 5-0 in Super Bowls.
Georgia's definitely going to be a trap game though. Definitely.
Trap game and Super Bowl if we win.
Yeah,
it's Tennessee Super Bowl.
Dude, I mean, we're going to have so many Super Bowls. We're going to have to get more
rings than Tom Brady.
Yeah, we're going to have to get more hands so we can get more rings.
Giselle is going to hate every Tennessee player.
Speaking of Tom Brady, good God, you suck.
My
Panthers are over here trying to tank, and you're screwing it up.
my fantasy team, I took Tom Brady because Brody takes Tom Brady every year, and he balls out for Brody. So I take him going, I'll get Brody's points. No, he's awful when I draft him.
So your balls out for Brody.
I don't know what that means. I'm going to say no.
You said Tom Brady balls out for Brody.
Yeah.
Is that like a Harambe? Tits out for Harambe?
Yeah. My tits are always out for Harambe.
I think Joseph's too.
For sure. Anyway, Saturday Super Bowl trap game. Can't wait. Sign me up. 7 p.m. in Neyland.
This is a revenge game though, right? Because it's in Neyland?
Yeah, sure. We'll call it that.
Okay.
Revenge trap Super Bowl tour.
This is not we have a better quarterback this time around. I don't think we're not gonna fire our defensive line coach at halftime during this game.
highly doubtful.
Yeah.
If we do, I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, I think Rodney Garner has maybe more pull than Josh Heupel. He might be able to fire Josh Heupel at halftime.
Let's do neither of those at halftime next game. Let's keep everything status quo. Yeah, I'm ready for this revenge trap tour Super Bowl. Revenge trap Super Bowl
But
tour.
I mean, if we're being kind of honest, should we thank Kentucky for that?
Yes.
Because that was kind of when the spiral started happening.
If we ever get to print national championship shirts, like somewhere on the shirt it has to say "Thank you, Mark Stoops."
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Just in like letters, like maybe like Chinese.
In khaki coloring.
Okay.
To honor him in his memory.
But instead of like it saying it in English, like we put in like Chinese or something.
That's fine.
Because like no offense to like people who get Chinese tattoos, but like I always ask like, hey, what does that mean?
They don't know.
Well, they tell me, but like I would never know if it was true or not.
They don't know either, though. To be fair.
Okay, yeah.
Isn't Mandarin like the hardest? I guess Chinese and Mandarin aren't the same thing. I don't know. I told you I'm an idiot. Except when I'm a genius.
That sounds right.
Whatever. I don't care. I don't know. My tattoo doesn't mean anything either. Whatever.
Yeah, you don't have a Mandarin tattoo.
Working on it. Getting a power T in Mandarin.
You have to get a tattoo.
I know. I want to make an appointment. I need.
What are you gonna do? You just gonna
power
get a
T right on the right ass cheek.
Okay, I like that
for sure.
You gotta.
To be fair, okay, if you're listening to this, I need y'all to understand.
You got a little peach to do that on too. It's gonna.
It's gonna have to be a big power T just to look normal. Me and Landon have a bet. I guess there wasn't really a bet. I just said the next time we beat Alabama, I'd get a power T. I'm gonna be honest. When I made that, I never thought we'd have the second coming of Jesus Christ himself come and coach the Tennessee Volunteers. I'll be 100% honest. When I said that, I was full negaval, and I just thought in my lifetime, someone hates me. Some football god hates me. We'll never beat Alabama again. I'll never get to see it. So I felt confident about it. I felt fine. Turns out I'm getting a power T tattooed.
You just reverse jinxed it.
I did. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'll gladly do that.
You.
Gladly. Yeah.
Also, like, maybe like after Florida, maybe, or maybe before Florida, you're still saying jury's out. You're not saying that anymore, right?
What do you mean? Jury's on
Josh Heupel.
Alabama?
No, Josh Heupel.
Yeah. And it wasn't jury's out necessarily. It's like just go win meaningful games, and I'm with you. Like, because you have to win them. I think honestly, after like LSU, just because that was a huge game. Because I said it going into Alabama, I was like, I don't need you necessarily this year, because Alabama's like, I know their defense. A lot of people want to act like it's super suspect. And I know they haven't had the best season, but they were statistically one of the best defenses in the country. I think going into Tennessee, they ranked number 1 statistically.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, you just need to play a good game. And I'm not talking like moral victory, like I feel good about our season. I'm just saying you have to go in there and throw up a fight to be – you've already won several meaningful games this year.
But you're not saying it anymore.
No, like he's
like
the guy.
You're – okay. That's all I need to know.
Well, and let me be fair to this.
Because Caleb would be the last one to say that.
Well, and let me kind of add this in too. And this isn't saying Josh Heupel's a bad football coach or they're going to run out of steam. Year 3, because of – and I think a lot of people think it feels like 2019 LSU because of like it's lined up perfectly. You got Cedric Tillman back. That's huge. You got Hendon Hooker. You got – and it's all that – it could be Jalen Hyatt's last year. Probably will be the way he's playing. Ramel Keaton's last year. You've got Jabari Small, who's a sophomore, right? Junior. So it's like, and then the offensive line, just the way it kind of came together, especially with Gerald Mincey transferring in, like it just kind of has that feel. Like year 2 just kind of got put together. I think year 3 you're set up for success. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it'll be this level of success.
Okay,
that's not saying for me to go, oh yeah, he's the guy. He's got to go beat Alabama again. That's not what I'm saying.
But Heupel's the guy. That's all.
You do. Yeah, you do have to build off this year though too, and also you still got a lot of work to do this year.
But
Heupel's a lot of work. Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
for sure. Do not clip that.
Clip it.
It's nothing against Heupel, man. I've been battered and beaten and done wrong, and I mean, I got champions of life. We've all gotten champions of life.
You got it tattooed on your other ass
fan,
cheek.
yes, no fan base should ever have to listen to that crap get spewed out of some loser coach's mouth.
Mhm.
And I said it when that happened. This podcast had started, or maybe I think it had started. I get the sentiment of what he's saying. No one wants to, not even a player wants to hear that after a loss. Ever.
Yeah.
And then the 5-star hearts, no one can even begin to say there's anything positive about that.
Right.
So yeah, I just didn't think it's nothing against Josh Heupel.
I think the reason why we hate Shane Beamer so much is he reminds us so much of Butch Jones that it's sickening.
He does remind me a lot of Butch Jones. He's already
So
won
like
more meaningful games. than
Two
Butch
South
Jones,
Carolina fans,
I'm rooting for his firing for you.
yeah, get out while you can. Actually,
If you want to keep him around, I'll gladly keep him.
yeah, let's maybe cheer for him. I can't
little bit
stand
harder.
him. Yeah, but maybe we should just like, hey man, you keep doing your thing, dude. Keep making those TikToks. I love it.
Get another Spencer Rattler next year.
Yeah, you should. Who is like another Spencer Rattler?
I don't know. We'll find him. We'll get him to South Carolina. I'm sure he's interested in Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Speaking of other Columbia teams, since we start talking, let's get into a little bit of college football. How about Vanderbilt almost beat Missouri? How much longer is Eli Drinkwitz going to be on campus? And I hate to talk about another man's job, but how much longer is he going to be on campus?
Hey, as long as he wants to be, man. He's another guy that I'm just like, yeah. Keep doing what you're doing. Yeah.
Well, that's what was funny is South Carolina fans when Butch Jones last year, they were wearing those shirts. I was like, keep Butch Jones. I was like, he's like 3-1 against you guys.
Keep him.
Like,
yeah.
I wouldn't be saying that about what's his name? Shark Humper.
I can see his stupid face.
McElwain.
Yep.
Thank you, Joey. Yeah, I was like, no, like we should get rid of him. Let's find out if we can beat a different Florida coach. I don't care how bad he was for Florida. He beat Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what a piece of crap. Did you click out? You good?
I'm good. Sorry.
Okay. Recruiting real quick before we get into college football.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine. I just remembered. Tennessee got another commit in that 2024 class, 4-star cornerback Caleb Beasley, at a Lipscomb Academy in the Nashville area. And man, he's a stud. I mean, you saw when he played on ESPN, stud. I think he's the number 2 player in Tennessee, top 200 player, top 150 player. So really good recruit there. You know, he made his announcement like after a game. I think it was an away game.
Oh,
yeah. So
let me dance on your field real quick.
I don't know who they played. I'm sure they won because they're just kind of dominating everybody at this point. But good for him. There's some players on that team that Tennessee's in with. Edwin Spillman's another one in that class from Lipscomb Academy. You got Nate Spillman, who is a wide receiver, committed in the 2023 class. He's on that team. So, with them kind of upcoming and being as dominant as they are, I think that is a really good connection that the staff has made up to this point.
Yeah, and Lipscomb Academy is just going to be.
They're just going to get better.
It made a commitment to football. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
So that's a good, good pipeline to forge.
Yeah, 100%. Nick Saban.
Yeah, we can talk about him. I get you want to defend your guy, but can we just admit he didn't fear for his life? And that's not what someone acts like who feared for their life.
Yeah, and is that what you want to say? That you're scared? I mean, is Nick Saban like forming into a beta before our eyes?
Yes. Look, I think I said this on Thursday's show. I get that there's a lot of – it's hard to control when fans storm the field because, unfortunately, there's just terrible people in this world who exist. Mm-hmm. But from everything we could tell, it was a very mild like there wasn't anything towards Alabama players or Nick Saban, and he had police with him, which helped.
Yeah, he had a freaking entourage.
And I get like you don't. I mean, they just got done yelling "F Bama," but like that doesn't mean they want to kill you or hurt you or. And like fans shouldn't be talking crap to players either. Like I get that. That doesn't warrant hitting them.
Right.
And that's the frustrating part. And I guess Nick Saban doesn't want to like admit guilt on his players' part, but it's really, really frustrating that even Alabama fans can't say it. It's like if Tennessee fans were talking crap to him, yeah, you shouldn't do that. Just enjoy the moment. But that doesn't justify hitting anyone. And like
And
I
it
even
looks like in the video the girl's back is turned
she was past him.
when he hit her. So like I don't know. I mean, you were scared of somebody with their back turned to you, and then on top of that, a female with their back turned. I mean, that is
Yeah.
I mean,
the female part is bad, but just to hit any human being.
right.
It's
And
dumb
it just
and
seems like
wrong.
he's condoning it because, like, you played him that next game, and you didn't have to. You beat Mississippi State. It was 30-6. It should have been 30-0. I think they scored on that last play. But he had 2 catches in that game. You
Yeah.
didn't need him to win that football game. So, like, you could have just, like, ended it all. Hey, we're going to suspend you for this game. Don't put your hands on a female. And it probably could have been over with.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like
I'm not saying that that's right and that's, the only punishment he should get. But Nick Saban would have been under a lot less scrutiny if he would have just done that.
you had an easy. Well, he's not under any. The national media and ESPN agree with
Right.
him, which is
Right.
incredibly frustrating. If Tennessee, and someone tweeted it, and it's a great example. Tennessee acted like, and again, like we talked about it was a funny moment, and you kind of relish in it because you're the villains. But Jordan Beck just flipped off the other team, and we acted like that was the worst sign of sportsmanship, and that kids should never watch that. You're okay with your kid watching a 6'3" Division I football player push, smack, put his hands on. I don't care how hard he did it. Put his hands on a female college student because she ran past him after her team won. You're okay
Yeah.
with your kids watching that? Like, come on. And storming the field is just part of college. It's one of the things that makes college football special. And I said it. I wish there was a better way to go about it. But by all accounts that came out, the worst thing Tennessee fans did was put their phone and they filmed them. You didn't go slap the CBS cameras that follow you around after the loss.
Right.
What's the difference?
Josh Heupel passed Nick Saban. I guess Nick Saban should have, slapped Josh Heupel because he was scared for his life.
Yeah.
He said he was scared. He was surrounded by police officers. Who was he scared of?
Yeah, that are going to push down anyone that gets
Right.
looks like any kind of threat.
I mean, it was just he could
It's
have.
absurd.
I mean, he noticed it was in the wrong because he's like, yeah, he's in counseling. It's not anger management counseling, but he's in counseling.
He was careful about his words.
If he's in counseling, you're admitting that something was not right with that situation. Whatever it was, something was not right. So he had to go to counseling for it. And then you blamed it on, him being scared.
And then he left the door. I think Alabama is going to come out in a couple weeks, maybe this week, and say they're going to accuse the girl of something because he left the door open. He said, if you knew the whole story, you might understand.
Oh, there was people in my mentions saying that she said a racial slur.
They left the door open. Something, I don't know if it's going to be that. Something's going to be said that's going to paint that girl in an ugly light. And I hope she speaks out if that's the case. That's another thing. Like I think she made her page private. She confirmed to Outkick that it was her and then just no commented it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. We'll see.
I mean, yeah, you showed everybody your true colors.
Well,
I mean,
well,
you're a sociopath. You admitted that.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing I'll say about this too. I watched a man hit a girl, a man hit a woman, a boy hit a girl, whatever. And you're telling me I don't know the full story. I would like some context. You know the full story. I'm watching you not punish this guy who hit a girl. I'd like to know the full story.
Yeah, 100%.
I think everyone deserves to know the full story. I guess Alabama fans, Coach Saban, I guess, or Alabama reporters, excuse me, Coach Saban, we won't ask questions you don't want to be asked.
Yeah,
Thank you.
They're more worried about Amari Thomas not being,
Yeah.
kicked out of the game for targeting than
Fans wanted
hitting
him
that.
charged with assault. Alabama, which I know that's the idiot Alabama fans. That's not all Alabama fans. I know
Right.
that. I know that's the dumb ones. I'm aware. But the same dumb ones are the ones that are justifying it in any way possible. And just don't touch her. Just don't touch her. Don't touch
Right.
anybody. Like, that's just a human. No one touched you.
Right.
Show the same respect. And it's even funnier, like, if you go and look at the reasonable Alabama fans, the reasonable ones are like, he's been trouble since he left Georgia. Like, why are you putting up with this? It's been, they're not even making a big deal of it, which is, I kind of get. I get everyone's got bias.
Right.
But they're
he's
just
not
like,
even like,
what are you doing dealing
that
with it?
receiver core isn't even great by any means, and he's not even top 2, I
Yeah.
would say.
It's
So
insane.
it's just weird that you just failed to do anything. And
I
there
haven't
is
seen any- I
Alabama
haven't
fans in
seen-
my mentions that are just like, oh, it's real funny coming from a Tennessee fan where y'all threw mustard bottles. Stay classy. We're saying that throwing mustard bottles is the same as hitting a female?
We've also said, too, how dumb that is. Just to be
Right,
clear. We've
right.
talked about how
That
dumb
was-
it is to throw stuff on the field.
Right.
So let me just be clear about that.
And there was like it wasn't like it was a parade of mustard bottles. I think there was one mustard bottle on the whole
It was one
field.
mustard bottle.
Yeah,
It was one mustard
It
bottle.
was like, I mean, what the crap?
It's dumb. And I'm really disappointed that.
And the thing is, if
Greg
they
Sankey's
could,
not
if,
doing anything
and I don't know if they did or not, but if they could tell who threw what, they would be banned.
They would, yeah.
So, I mean, if we want to
I
go,
think
off
they
that,
did. I think they did find some videos.
There was a video of Jermaine Burton putting his hands on a female. So,
Yeah.
absolutely, there should be repercussions for that. And Nick Saban failed to do that. So, yeah, he's a beta. And, it's so funny because this off season, you had the Jimbo and Saban kind of, throwing rocks from a glass house between both of them. Nick Saban's like saying how I guess it was kind of unfair that he pretty much was saying that it was unfair that, Texas has all this money they can spend on a number 1 recruiting class. And he's in Alabama. But it's like, I mean, your program was giving out Dodge Chargers way before NIL got here, buddy. He was
strategic. They talked about it. That was his call to arms to his boosters.
Yeah, I mean, if
That
you
was-
could
it
do
was
like a heat radiant of Dodge Chargers, I mean, I'm sure that whole area of Tuscaloosa is just freaking bright red.
Yeah. Well, and another thing that makes me mad about Saban's like, dude, I know you're a great football coach. Like, I know you are. Just be a decent human being for once.
Yeah. Would it kill you? It might actually kill him.
Dude, I loved Alabama fans that got fooled by that Grace. Who was it? Joy and that fake account.
Oh yeah.
That was awesome.
About
Who
him
was
getting-
that? It was a verified account that changed it to Brett McMurphy, right?
Yeah, something like that. About well,
Saban
there's one
retiring.
about there's also one about Jermaine Burton being arrested.
That was Richard G. West.
Yeah,
that was the all-time killer troll.
Well, and
the
like
guy that fooled
it's been
ESPN.
perfect for him because Alabama fans would fall for literally anything.
Yeah, they are very similar to the Facebook Tennessee fans. That it is believed on Facebook that it is going to be a checkered kneel and orange and black. Like, you cannot convince the Facebook Vol fans else. They think it's official. They think it's happening.
And there was one thing on there of Cedric Tillman's gonna opt out for the NFL draft. And it's a picture of John Kelly. It's not even of Cedric Tillman. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, he's out. Why would he quit on the team?" I'm like, "Dang it, guys, stop!"
Also, I wouldn't argue he's quitting. He's hurt.
Yeah.
For you Facebook Vol fans,
Yeah.
that's funny. That's awesome. No offense to the people listening on Facebook. I'm sorry, I need to clarify. It's
My
the
mom
ones that
got caught
you know the
by
ones.
Richard G. West
Did she?
earlier this week. So they did the goalpost thing with like Fraser's Welding
Yeah.
and like saying that she texted me and she's like, "Yeah, I know the guy from Fraser's Welding." And I was like, "How did you hear that?" She's like, "Oh, it was this." She sent me the tweet, and I'm like, Mom, dang it, no, this is not right. You got by Richard G. West.
Hey, I've gotten got a couple times. I got on a fake Josh Heupel account I did not verify last year.
Yeah.
He tweeted "Go Vols" when the Oklahoma job opened, and I got. Listen, if you're gonna be on the internet as much as we are, I think Big Cat says it. Eventually you're gonna fall for a fake account.
Yeah,
it's about knowing them after you got though. When you get,
you got to click on them every single time. You got to click. You got to verify it. Check your sources. That's what I like to call it. You know,
I don't. Sometimes I'll text like you or like my brothers. I'll screenshot something, and as I send it, I'm like, all right, it's fake. So I don't like. I might react to you initially, but I'll wait to react online.
Yeah, there's that flinch where you're like, oh crap. Oh, it's like, oh okay, no, we're good, we're good. It's fake.
I love
good one. All you can do is clap.
And the funniest thing about Richard G. West account is it's so obviously fake.
Oh yeah,
it's
not anything somebody would actually tweet.
Well, it like toes this line, except for like maybe one word in it, where you're like, ah, it's fake. It's very good. Whoever runs it, it's very good.
Yeah, props to them.
I feel like the way I'm talking about it, people are gonna be like, Caleb runs that account. I do not run that account.
If I ever
wish I did, I wish I was
Richard
that clever.
West or a Dick West, I'm gonna lose my mind.
It's very good. All right, college football. Did we want to show that Saban video? I know you tweeted it out. Do you want?
Yeah, let's show it just so people know. Joe, if you want to
look, I don't know how many of you have ever been in a situation like that, but I talked to him. He was scared. I was scared. Some of our other players were scared. I think you learn to respect other people because we have a responsibility to do that regardless of the circumstance that we're in. And, I talked to the guy. We have him in a counseling program. It's not an anger management program, as people announced today. Nobody ever said that. That's not the problem. That's not the issue. But it's about having the proper respect for other people. And, I didn't think it was necessary to suspend the guy. So if you knew the whole story, maybe you wouldn't either. But I'm not going to divulge that.
Tell us the whole story there, bud.
I would like to go back. I thought he said scared for his life. He didn't say that, so I will walk back that gladly.
The whole like tapping on the panel up there. I mean, that just or the podium. That just
I wonder if
screams
he does that all the time.
liar.
I wonder if he does that all the time. I'd be curious to go back and watch.
Yeah, let's get a full breakdown of this.
Right.
Good. What an ass.
And it kind of pisses me off that he goes, we have to have respect for each other. Well, he didn't. So you want Tennessee fans to have respect, but you don't care if he does.
Right.
Okay, cool. Moving on. That's all. Unless you have anything else to add. I'm good.
Yeah. I mean, you can hit a female, but don't you dare throw a mustard bottle.
Well, one's way worse than the other. Let's be honest. If you're going to do it, at least throw a Heinz one. Don't throw that good Hunts down there.
Yeah.
Come on. Man, it's not a – Iowa gave us hope for it to be a fun football – Iowa and Syracuse both gave us hope to be a really fun football weekend, and they both just let us down in the worst way possible.
Iowa's so bad.
They're terrible.
They're literally their only touchdown was a sack and a fumble return.
And I went crazy when it happened. I knew it was going to fall apart. I knew the wheels were going to come off, but I wanted it to happen.
It's so bad.
Yeah, Syracuse got demolished in the fourth quarter. Shane Beamer would have been so disappointed. Just does DJ start next week?
I don't know. I was about to say that. They got a quarterback controversy.
Is that their off week? They played 8 games. They may be off next week. Good time for QB competition.
Yeah, they
bye week action. Ooh, yeah. So DJ's going to start their next game then.
They do play Notre Dame next.
DJ's going to start. If I know anything about Dabo Swinney, he's going to stick with his guys.
Dude, and he was playing so well. Like, people are like, okay, he's actually really good. Like, he might work his way up to the Heisman. And then he just laid an egg. Well, his QBR was 16.
Ooh, that's good.
God.
He could probably start on an NFL roster. I feel like we see that every week.
I mean, I would almost take DJ over what Carolina has at quarterback right now.
Shut up. He didn't play this week, did he?
No, he's out.
So
We
I thought
literally
it was
have PJ
sprained ankle.
Walker.
Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah, Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield are hurt. We are
Who's
down bad. And then we beat PJ Walker beat Tom Brady today.
Who's the interim?
Is it Steve Wilkes?
I don't know. You got to ride that interim high, though. I told you. The only team can't ride that interim high is who got them all? Nebraska. That's it. Shocker. And Tennessee.
Yeah.
Tennessee sucked with the interim.
Yeah, it's Steve Wilkes. The only thing he's done is got rid of Robbie Anderson and then traded Christian McCaffrey. Oh my God! I know that's not just him. I mean, that's the owner.
I'm happy for. I know you're not going to like this. I felt like Christian McCaffrey needed to get out of Carolina.
I agree. I don't like as a fan. I hate to see him go, but yeah, you're just kind of wasting away.
And
they
like
need to
you're
rebuild,
and every
that
time
was the
you're
only
healthy,
way you're going to get draft picks. Yeah,
yeah, and like the only time Christian McCaffrey's healthy, they just run him so hard, they run him into the ground. He's going to get injured again. Go somewhere where you can.
Yeah, that's another thing. He's never healthy, so like he's not. You know, we talk about running backs maybe not being worth the money, and like, but he's been your entire offense for so long that it's like.
Which is probably part of the reason that he's injured all the time. Every time he gets healthy,
yeah,
you're going to him.
Right.
So, who knows? I mean, he's just not a healthy individual, though. So who knows? It may still be the case in San Francisco.
Right.
LSU Ole Miss.
Yeah,
LSU's
but you can't continue to like. He's going to win you a couple games, and so you're never going to get like good enough draft picks to really help anything.
Right. Right. LSU Ole Miss. What about them? I know we talked about it a little bit.
Dude, LSU's good.
They are.
You know, I got to fail on Brian Kelly, you know, coming up in segments. I guess I can go ahead and do it.
Yeah, go for it.
So Brian Kelly said that he's like, I don't know if you watched the Tennessee game, but like we weren't too far off. He's like, I know we got out. I didn't coach that well. We didn't play very well, but the score didn't indicate how close it was. I'm like, you just named why it wasn't close and then said it was close. That's not right. That's
at least he threw a little bit of credit Tennessee's way, like obvious credit in terms of taking it. Like Nick Saban would have never given Tennessee that much credit. He didn't give Tennessee that much credit.
No, he didn't.
So I'll give him that. I'll give him that. But
he did.
But the fail part of it is
it wasn't close.
No. The score indicated exactly how far it was.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, that's a weird time to storm. No, Tennessee's made sense. I mean, I'm for storming the field, so I don't really care. But
they did storm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know about that.
You were a favorite for most of the week.
Yeah.
Again, I like storming, so whatever. It is what it is. I don't care. Don't bother me.
I mean, like, but did you storm like 2019, like after they beat somebody? Or were you already up there where you didn't? I don't know. It's just, I feel like it has to be the perfect storm to storm.
Yeah, I think some of these are like, I would hate if Tennessee did it too. Florida wouldn't have felt good to storm. It wouldn't have felt good. And they beat us almost the same amount as Florida did, or Alabama did.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. LSU was 7-0 at that point, number 7 in the country. But
and I think, you know, part of that Florida game was, you know, we were kind of in control, and then at the very end, we're like just kind of hanging on.
Yeah, there was much more of like a relief aspect to it rather than like jubilation like Alabama's.
Yeah.
Much more. TCU, man, I was talking about it with someone. One of the SEC teams, whether it be us, Alabama, or Georgia, is going to get screwed because TCU, which I think TCU is a good football team, but it's going to be like TCU, Clemson, Ohio State are all going to be undefeated at the end of the year. Clemson's or TCU is going to keep a third SEC team out, which is possible that they'd be good enough to get in. And that sucks.
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to see Texas. I thought Texas maybe beat TCU, and they might still, but
Right.
them not knocking off Oklahoma State was.
And they look not good in that
Yeah,
either. It's not like
yeah.
Oklahoma State just looked phenomenal.
Right.
Texas did not look good.
No.
TCU, at least like with TCU and Ohio State, they're good football teams. That's not as frustrating. It's really frustrating that Clemson is not good, and their one chance to lose was yesterday.
Yep.
So that one stings more than
Who would
and I'll
they
even-
play in the ACC title game?
I haven't looked at the standings, so I'm not sure. Syracuse is on the same side of, aren't they?
Yes, they're in the Atlantic
That's what I
side.
thought. That's what I thought.
Um,
So yeah, and Michigan, I'd be okay if Michigan was the undefeated team. They're a pretty good football team too. That one would sit okay with me.
yeah, Wake Forest is their other one that they would probably
Yeah.
could lose, and they
Yeah,
won
they
that
already
one.
beat that team.
Yeah, UNC.
Ooh, UNC might be interesting if they get into a boat race, because that
Yeah.
offense is not high powered.
Mm-hmm.
But you kind of hinge on UNC being able to score that day.
Yeah, it looks
And
like
Clemson's defense is good.
UNC's 6-1.
And with a should have lost to App State away. Who else should they have lost to? There's another close game in there that wasn't pretty.
Duke.
What about Duke? Was that most important of the week? I can't remember who it was. I'm going to have to look it up now. Landon, did you like it? Did you like that?
Oh, I didn't see that.
You didn't see that?
Uh-uh.
Was it? Let me look it up. It was a pick six. Trying to remember who it was. He gets into the end zone, throws the U up, snaps it over his leg. I was like, that's a G celebration.
Dude,
Absolute
Miami's
G.
terrible. We were talking about them being a college football playoff contender earlier this year. They are terrible. They suck. Let's get back to that. Joe, you want to get in here? I
All
want to
that
hear
swag.
who you think sucks.
This is the you suck segment. Nick Saban, you suck.
Yeah. Joe, who sucks?
God, I gotta think on my feet. What's my scope here? Just anywhere, anything? I mean, obviously,
anything. Yeah,
college
what
football,
sucks?
but
Anything.
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 anything?
Anything. Yeah.
Okay. I'll be okay. Never mind.
Hitting women?
Yes.
That sucks.
That does suck, and also defending hitting women sucks. So
Yeah.
Nick Saban sucks.
Mhm.
Mint chocolate chip ice cream is a little bit of a hot take, but I think that sucks. I don't like mint ice cream.
I don't like mint mint chocolate chip isn't bad to me, but like when you put mint in like a drink, I think that is disgusting.
Yes.
The only thing good mint is gum. That's it. And even that, who craves mint gum? That's a psychopathic move.
Like
I
flavored
need my
things
mint
like
gum.
gum or whatever.
It's like toothpaste.
something. Yes. Like tasting things, not something you swallow.
Even that, don't you wish you had like a
Yeah, that's
childhood?
cool.
Like, you remember? Did y'all have that like good tasting toothpaste in childhood? Like it was always like flavored something else. That was the best.
Yeah.
I'd love to go back to those days. Somebody said Jimbo Fisher sucks, and I agree. I just can't see who said it. So whoever said that, correct.
He does suck. Also, when's the last time that somebody beat a father and son in consecutive weeks?
Surely that's
Tennessee
never
did it.
happened.
Oh, it's true.
Tennessee
Surely
did
that's
it.
never
I don't know. I'm asking.
Someone put in here that Todd Simpson apparently was rumored he'll transfer to Tennessee next year. He would be dumber for doing that than ever going to Alabama.
Yeah, we got Nico. We don't need him.
Also, because I hate Alabama so much, any player that ever wants to transfer from Alabama, open arms. You want to take off that crimson and put on orange? Someone asked me because I said Henry Toto is never evolved. He's like, well, what about Alvin Kamara? I was like, well, he originally was at Alabama and then came to Tennessee. I love that. That's like a middle finger to Alabama.
Yeah.
Just like I'm sure Alabama feels that same way about Henry Toto.
Well, I mean, just like Velas and Brew McCoy, like they're VFLs. You finish your career at Tennessee, you're a VFL.
Oh, here we go, John Adams.
Well, that's true.
He probably wouldn't count him. He said you had to you couldn't. He said you couldn't go to the draft early to be considered a VFL. And yeah. Oh yeah, that was a real take.
Hypothetical.
He hates all the 5 stars Rick Barnes is pulling in right now. Jesus.
I need to find that article and read it again just to laugh.
You'll have to pay for it.
Probably.
Caleb, it'd be hypothetical, but hear me out. Say Toto had another year and he transferred to Tennessee. What's your? Are you you just yelling him out right in the first ball walk, or are you gonna open arms?
That's a good question. Todd Simpson's kind of similar. He was a Tennessee fan growing up. He never came to Tennessee, so I'll go ahead and give him the pass. No, Toto. Talk about ring Jason. If you did decide that, no, you can stay in Oklahoma. You can stay in San Francisco. Kevin Durant, we're good. We don't need you.
Yeah, I agree with that. I wouldn't want Henry Toto back.
I would. Yeah, I'd barrage him with.
If you told me it could win us some games, I'm a sucker for winning. I'm a sucker for winning. Maybe.
I would never get a jersey with his name on the back ever again. I'd probably jinx that. That was my fault. But
yes, we'll blame you.
Alabama, good. Mississippi State, you suck.
Yes. Can we quit acting like Will Rogers is one of the best QBs in the SEC? Because he's not, just because he throws for a lot of yards.
He's 30
lost to
for
LSU.
60.
Yeah.
On Saturday, 30 for 60. Good
How many yards?
God.
How many yards?
231.
He threw
His
230
average
yards
was
and still got beat by 30.
His
or
average is
24, you pick.
3.9 per completion.
That's pretty good. That's
3.9.
efficient.
I mean, that is Tom Brady-esque right there.
Let me just tell you how much better Hendon Hooker is than Will Rogers. What Alabama defense did to Mississippi State's offense, that's what they wanted to do to Tennessee's. They forgot to factor in that Hendon Hooker was throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Not Will Rogers.
It is pretty insane that Jahmyr Gibbs only had 37 yards rushing.
That is truly
weird. Alabama's weird, man.
Someone said Toto is a pile jumper. Yeah, if you go look at his assisted tackles, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It is hilarious.
Or
I want to know what they were at Tennessee.
Pile humper. Let's call him that.
He did. It looked like he was trying to hump. I don't know if he just loves Hendon Hooker. It looked like he was trying to hump him. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
We talk about how stupid it is to punch people in the helmet. Humping them in the helmet may be even dumber.
And it's horny, so he gets bonked for that. So it's you can't get caught doing both.
He's the next Manti Te'o, just humping anything he sees or doesn't see.
Oh. That joke's just since that documentary came out, it's not as good anymore.
I still like it.
There's
still a lot of stupidity that went into that from everybody, 100%. From ESPN, from everybody.
Yeah, 100%.
And from Manti, obviously.
But it made me feel for him some.
Sort of.
Yes.
He did get very famous from that story. It was part of his Heisman campaign. I mean, yeah, come on. Your grandma dying wasn't enough. You had to throw in a fake dead girlfriend.
My God.
I mean, seriously, come on.
Oh my God.
He looked like Toto out there tackling nothing in the national championship game against Alabama.
Oh my God. All right, moving on.
Why? What? Tell me what I said that was wrong.
I didn't. Nothing you said was wrong, but I am just uncomfortable, so I'd like to move on.
Vanderbilt won the fourth quarter last night,
dude. So I was literally at dinner. We were at Babalu, and we look up, and Raven's like, "Man, Vanderbilt's bad," and I was like, "Yeah," and then 2 seconds later, she's like, "Oh, Missouri might be even worse. They're about to lose."
Honestly, I think if you play Vanderbilt, if you don't beat them by 10, you're just worse than Vanderbilt. Because they probably tried to lose that game.
Yeah, they gave you 10 points as soon as you got off the bus.
So if you don't win by 10, you're terrible. You're worse than Vanderbilt. I think they're 0-29 now in their last SEC game, 29 SEC games. I think that's right.
They're
I can double check that.
What about Kansas State just not scoring in the second half? They're up 28-17 in the first half and just sucked.
Yeah, which I said I think TCU's a good football team, but they probably should have lost that game.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they are. I mean, well, we know Kansas State's pretty good.
Yeah.
We got a question from D. Mason Balls. Did Jeremy Banks play Saturday? He had no tackles, and I can't remember him on the field. I honestly don't know. That's a question for Landon.
He did play.
Okay. Maybe just not a lot.
Yeah. Salome Page looked pretty good as well. I forgot to mention him and guys.
He got in the backfield once or twice.
He had a sack, and they tried to do a reverse, and he blew it up too. So, yeah, he was there. They kind of abandoned the running game. They weren't getting anywhere, so they were just, literally trying to get the ball out as fast as possible. So,
yeah,
I am kind of shocked he didn't have a single tackle, but I'm not shocked that he didn't have very many.
For 21 the last 21 games. 1 and 28. 1 and 28 in the last 29 games. They won one SEC game in 19. So they are 0 and 20. Depending on when that win came. They won 28 in the last 28 games. Yeah.
It had to be Missouri, right?
And they I can look. And they lost to ETSU last year.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Oh, God.
Remember?
Oh, I remember. Penn State, are they good?
No.
They're teetering. I'll give them the teetering. I'll give them teetering.
I mean, they got blown out by Michigan, and they just let Minnesota have it.
Their win was over Missouri. Nice, Landon.
Nice.
Missouri.
I mean, there wasn't a lot I could really. I can't take full. I got to give credit to Missouri on that one.
0 and 25 in the last 25 SEC games. 0 and 25.
I hate Penn State, but I would love for Ohio State to walk in there and lose. That would make not only the college football playoff landscape a little different, but that would just make my heart so happy.
Oh, yeah. So my thing with the Pac, it doesn't look like the Pac-12 is going to get anybody in the playoff.
I don't know how you do, right? Unless unless Big 10 falls apart, TCU loses one, maybe
like Oregon would have to run the table, but that loss to Georgia was so bad.
Yeah, it did come at the front. It came at the right time. They lost their game at the right time, though. That one gets you in.
But it's so bad.
No, I agree. I agree with that. It really depends too.
But Bo Nix is good. He had 5 touchdowns yesterday.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
He is.
Stop.
He is good.
Because his
he's good in the Pac-12.
First name's Bo.
It's because he's in the Pac-12, but he is good in the Pac-12.
Jared Garantano wasn't good in the Pac-12.
Yeah, he was horrible.
I was talking to someone today. Do you remember when Pro Football Focus ate him up? They talked about him like he was the greatest thing. They have to dislike Tennessee because the moment he left Tennessee, they trashed him.
Oh yeah, he's
absolutely trashed him.
Yeah, it came up on my timeline. It was a video of him just saying like, I've been here for so long. I've put my body on the line, and I just wanted to throw up. I mean,
dude, it makes me hate the coaching staffs he had even more though.
Yeah, like he was such a good kid. Like
nothing.
He just sucked. Like and there was nothing like. He just wasn't good. Like I hate to say that. He was a great person, but like he was just a terrible quarterback.
Right. Yeah, it made that video made me hate.
And coaching had a lot to do with that too.
Right. It made me truly hate Butch Jones and Jeremy Pruitt way more than I already did. Because like you said, like he never. The only thing he did wrong, and I've always said, like I think part of that blame probably goes to Butch Jones, was in that his first game as an assumed starter with Quentin Dormady. I think even before the game, Butch Jones said they were probably going to go every series, and then he didn't play it down.
Yeah.
And so I definitely put a little bit of blame on Butch Jones there, but he definitely got off on the wrong foot. he was a redshirt freshman, but really his first quote unquote showing as a Tennessee quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, he was terrible.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with Josh Heupel, though. Like, he's got us spoiled. Like, if we ever go back to those offenses where we couldn't score worth a damn, I'm done. Like, I can't sit through that again. I can't.
I don't know how. I think Josh Heupel would have to scheme against himself to not score.
Well, I'm saying, like, hopefully this doesn't happen. Knock on wood.
Don't say it. Stop. Stop.
Somehow something happens, and we get another coach. If we were that bad, I would not be buying any more season tickets to anything.
Text a buddy, man. Shut up. Speaking of Bush Jones, Arkansas State's now 2-6. They got destroyed by Louisiana.
Nice.
I love it. Couldn't happen to a better person.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else that sucks?
We mentioned Miami. BYU. Does BYU suck?
They soak.
They suck. They do soak too. Yeah, they don't suck.
Yeah, right.
Who they lose to?
It's against Liberty, 41-14.
Jesus.
Damn.
Talking about fake hype.
Dude, I almost picked that game too. I was like, surely BYU beats them by more.
And they're
than 3
going to the
points.
Big 12 next year, right?
Oh my god! It was the whole Zach Wilson, MILF campaign going on. It just shook them.
Yeah, it probably did rattle some cages.
Texas is not good.
No, I won't call them suck. They're not good. Like Penn State.
Quinn Ewers was 19 for 49 yesterday.
I love that Tennessee gets called this like innovative air raid thing, and Hendon Hooker has. Where is he at on the attempt list? Cannot be very high.
I mean, if you go 30 for 60, I think you should be in concussion protocol.
Will Rogers, be careful. Atlanta's trying.
Especially if you're averaging 3.9 yards per completion. If you're just throwing it around the line of scrimmage, how are you throwing 30 incompletions?
I don't know, but I've never looked at the leading passer list ever because it doesn't matter. Or I haven't looked at the country. I've looked at the SEC. Let me just run through some of these names. Let me give you the top 7, and you tell me if any of these teams are good. Michael Penix Jr., Kyle Van Treese, Georgia Southern, Will Rogers, Mississippi State, Frank Harris, UTSA, Austin Reed, Western Kentucky, Holston Ahlers, ECU, Curtis Rourke, Ohio, and Drake, UNC's teetering. Those top 7 teams suck, and we're going to go off total yards to try to determine if a team is good. Get out of here. Our quarterback's good, not a team. Get out of here.
Good God. How long did that Texas-Oklahoma State game? Because Spencer Sanders for Oklahoma State was 34-57. So there was like –
and he's number 23.
There's like 100 incompletions in this damn game.
Jaden Daniels has more attempts than Hendon Hooker.
Jesus.
Love it.
Golly, he's way down here.
I got one last sucks, and I'll just be quick, but it's Iowa. They're so bad.
They suck.
It actually baffles me that there are Iowa fans, and I kind of feel bad for them, and I just let them do their little like their thing and do their hospital wave and have their moment. Like, I'll let you guys have that, but if you're a fan of that team for actual football purposes, first off, you live in Iowa, so that's your first problem. But you really need to rethink your life choices because, shoe buddy,
yeah,
it's not even like they're a team that like has upside. That like, oh, like we're just down in the gutter. No, like they have some moments, but it's literally I think they've had like 3 games below 10 points scored or 10 or lower. It's just awful.
Yeah, they are horrible. There are 2 quarterbacks that played yesterday. Petros had a QBR of 5.9. Alex Padilla had a QBR of 3.1. How does it even happen? Why don't they just run they got a great defense. Why don't they just run the triple option?
Why don't they just punt on first down?
I mean, that might be better.
Time.
Well, general
yeah,
kneeling.
just get really good at punting. And so, like, hopefully, like, the team just muffs it.
It's probably
If your defense is that good, you can maybe get the ball in a better position next time around.
It's worth a try. I think it's worth a try. Hendon Hooker is 70th in the country in attempts.
I'd like to know his
70th.
average.
That's insane. There's backup quarterbacks probably ahead of him.
You want to know what's even more insane?
Like somebody's like Connor Baselak throw the ball 378 times. That's stupid.
Man, where's this at? His Jalen Hyatt's average per catch is 19.2 yards.
What was I think
He has
Joe gave
40
us-
receptions.
You didn't give us his average per catch, but let's see. We can do this real quick.
What's whose?
When Joe gave us the
Devontae Smith.
yeah, let me pull up his average per catch. 15.1. Hey, I'm not saying it. That's saying it.
4 yards in a cloud of dust. Most important?
Yeah, someone did ask a question. Do we win big Saturday or is it close? I don't know the answer to that, and we'll do score predictions Thursday. I do want to say Tennessee has the ability to win big. Kentucky does not have the ability to win big. That's not saying Kentucky doesn't have the ability to win, but they do not have the ability to win big.
I don't think it's a nail biter.
I hope you're right. It's a rivalry, but it is in Neyland. There's some scales tipping.
I mean, if we're being fair, this rivalry is about the same as Tennessee, Florida the last, 20 years. So, Florida doesn't consider it a rivalry, but
Bullcrap.
so if we're not saying that's a rivalry, I don't think we're saying this one is either.
Mark Stoops certainly loves the color orange, apparently. It's too close to the color khaki.
Yeah.
It's much closer than the color blue to khaki, so there might be something there for him. Might be.
He lost to Shane Beamer, so.
Culture and climate, man. It's important.
Yeah. My first most important is the game day sign. It was it said missing, and it was a picture of a field goal post, and it said last seen Saturday, October 15th in the Tennessee River. Thought that was awesome.
That is pretty good. I'm looking for most important here. I do have a fail. Let's see.
I can go while Caleb looks.
Yeah,
Just,
go ahead.
It's just Tennessee athletics overall. We're an everything school. We basically were till football, but now football's got us, on stage. Let's see. I got the list of top 25 programs. It's some of them are off just because names, but so baseball, football, preseason. Some of them are basketball, tennis, golf, lady vol swim, men's swim and dive, lady vol soccer, and softball, and track and field, I believe.
Okay.
I love it.
I was like, what, like 12 teams or something like that? I mean, how many teams do we have? I mean, rugby's pretty good too. I'm pretty sure our rugby team won last year, didn't they?
Yeah, they won the national championship. Was that last year?
I mean, yeah, they did again. Yeah, I mean, they went undefeated. It's if you want to
Danny
play
White.
sports, come Disney.
Danny White effect.
Yep. Low key stop though because there's no parking or living or anything. So 5-star.
So don't come to Tennessee, but also unless you're an athlete, then come to Tennessee.
Yeah.
We're in a frat,
Okay.
right? There's plenty of frats around here.
Yeah, just don't park or eat here
Yeah, just
or live here.
ride a
Just
bike.
live off campus. That's cool.
Yeah, be great at riding a scooter or a bike.
There we go.
So Joe, your fraternity wasn't the one that got the field goal post, was it? By chance?
Well, we didn't cut it up at our place. No, we took it down to the Sigma Chi house and then broke off, and everyone cut up different pieces and did
Did you get a piece?
unholy things with it. Yeah, I ended up not my own piece. We ended up just like keeping like a big piece, and everyone like wrote their names on it and stuff. But we were cutting up some random pieces and burning things, and it was cool. I won't speak on it, but
I was about to say we'll stop you there. You don't have to go into detail.
Yeah, I plead the fifth.
We won't admit to crimes on this podcast. We have before. We won't do it again. My first one is, or my only one, AJ Marquez, the UT Martin player whose family's home was destroyed by Hurricane
Ian.
Ian, that bitch. Yeah, it's a cool story. Like before it got to Tennessee fans' radar, it was at like, it was under 10 grand. I want to say it was like $5 grand. $6 grand. So a good amount of money. Like UT Martin stepped up and did a lot for him. And I'm sure some other fan bases. And then it got to Vol Nation's radar. And as of now, it's at $84,120. And he released a video. I think in the video he said he was a UT fan now. Going to be one for life because of the love. Yeah, you can talk trash about some of the fan base because not everybody's maybe the most civil human beings, like any fan base. But the fact of the matter is Vol Nation steps up. And to do that for a guy that's not even on your team, not a part of your program, not at your school, like nothing like that, like that's special. And it's just cool because, you see it happen all over the country with sports. Like that's the cool thing about sports. Like, people who have no connection other than the game of football to each other do that. And so that's really cool to see.
Apparently he got a call and he was like, "Hey, have you taken a look at this GoFundMe?" And he's like, "No." And he looked at it and it was, I think this was on Thursday, it was up to 18,000. And by Saturday at kickoff, it was up to 70,000.
Wow. That's awesome.
So
did you see what the goal was when he posted it?
It was $1.
$1. Yeah.
Yeah. He was like, if I get that, every little bit helps. Yeah, he had that message after the game. That was really cool. He was like, I'm a Vol fan from now on.
Yeah, it's cool. And then you had the Zakiah Ziegler thing obviously happened last year with his family's house destroyed in a fire, and Tennessee stepped up and they appreciated it so much they moved to Knoxville.
Yeah.
So that's really like stuff like that's really cool.
So move to Knoxville. Even though Joe just tried to convince you otherwise. Come on.
For sure.
Don't live on campus. That's what you're saying, Joe.
Yeah, that's all I care. We're good otherwise.
Yeah.
This man's got to rent somewhere.
Yeah.
Give us a reason to expand Neyland. I'll do it.
There you go. Love it. Fail.
Shane Beamer.
Yeah, I do have one for South Carolina. They have signs around their stadium that says there is only one Carolina.
That's false.
There are two.
There are two. It's awesome. It's like on all the.
Oh,
that's awful. That works in almost every scenario you could ever put it in, except for Carolina. There's only one Dakota.
Yeah, Carolina Dakotas are out. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like those aren't it.
Staying on that, just I get and I know we've already talked about South Carolina and Shane Beamer. I get their hype for their level, but when we start flaunting like the first 4-game win streak since 2013 or something, and first win over Texas A&M ever, like, cool, enjoy it. The people on Twitter that are getting all antsed up, like thinking Tennessee's gonna walk in there. Now, granted, I'm gonna shut up because God forbid something goes wrong, and there you go, my dumbass is clip saying talking my stuff, but you gotta tone it down a little bit. Some of the people, and I know they're fans just being stupid and probably take for granted someone with 100 followers, but Jesus, they are just way too hype right now. They got to calm down. They've got to calm down.
I agree.
Yeah, enjoy the win, like you said, but Tennessee's a different team than Kentucky and Texas A&M.
Correct.
Yeah, very different. Maybe don't get too hyped up for that one yet.
I have one more. Caleb, do you have any?
Yeah, I've got. It could probably be most important and fail. Did you all see the UTEP play against FAU?
I don't think so.
UTEP blocked an extra point. I think it hit off his helmet. So his helmet comes flying off. He starts to chase the ball down, realizes his helmet's off, runs out of the play, doesn't touch the ball. Another guy scoops and scores, and they called it back for illegal participation. Because I guess he chased after the ball with his helmet off. I thought you just blew that dead. I don't know how that works, but
I thought
it's insane.
If his helmet comes off, I just thought he couldn't participate in the play. I didn't think it had.
And he did like run after the ball for a few yards, then realizes and like completely moves out of the way. So I don't know what the rule is there, but yeah, it's very unfortunate. And let me pull up that final while you read yours, because it was close. Like, it mattered. Those 2 points would have mattered.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
I had a Weber State's long snapper. Poor guy. He caused 4 safeties in their game against Montana State.
You can't. You just can't do anything about it.
Montana
That'd be
State is
cringe
ranked
you
number
saying that.
3, and Weber State in the first part of this video, they're up 24-9, and they end up losing. And a lot of it is because this guy snapped it over the punter's head 4 times.
And I mean, 8 points doesn't seem like a lot in the grand scheme of things, but 4 safeties just blows your mind.
Yeah, I mean, you just give it right back to him.
Right.
So, yeah.
At what point do you just like go under center on your punts?
Yeah, just go for it on 4th down, see what happens.
I'm just hand it right off to your punter. Let him roll out and rugby kick
Yeah.
it. That's awesome. Hate that. UTEP did end up winning 24-21. Never mind. I thought they lost that game. They did.
Huh.
They won the 4th quarter too, so that's 2
all that
wins in
matters.
1 week.
All that matters.
It's pretty big. You don't get that every day.
Anything else?
That's it for me.
It's
I
kind
did
of
not
long
realize how
episode.
long we went. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I apologize. And a bye week, or a bye week. An easy, not a bye week. I'm
Yeah,
so
I
sorry,
mean-
UT Martin. I apologize. That was
Kind of, sort of. You get it. You get it.
They did win the 4th quarter. Tennessee's 1-1 on the week.
Damn it. We're still
Hey,
undefeated.
but we're
baby.
still 5-0 in Super Bowls.
Yeah. We're also number 3 in the
4-0,
country,
sorry,
which still I just can't wrap my head around right now.
And moved up in the coaches poll, right?
Yeah.
We're number 3 in both of them.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
The FBI still has us at 12 or some shit, but whatever.
Yeah.
That ranking's a joke.
Yeah, Clemson's probably number 1 in that.
Probably.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. Y'all have a great week. We'll be back on Thursday, and I'll be in Austin. Speaking of sucks,
Awesome.
I'm coming to you, Texas. You suck.
At least Austin.
I'm gonna go there and just throw like 80 incompletions. It's gonna be awesome. I'll fit in perfectly.
You'll get some NIL money from that.
I will. Guys, thanks again. We'll be back, bringing the boat in, and we out.